So, as far as cocktail hour goes, this is a great time to get friends and family kind of enjoying and laughing and socializing, but it's not entirely necessary. Like, in all honesty, if you're giving a couple a 3 to 5 minute film or a 4 to 6 minute or something in that shorter length, I wouldn't really bother about the cocktail hour because if you do everything else that we outlined in the course, you have more than enough content. So, I'd really only say to really put cocktail hour as a priority if you're giving the couple of film that's longer than 9 minutes. And so really what we do with cocktail hour, the reason we get it is because it allows us to maybe include some friends and family that the couple really wants to see. And when you get cocktail hour, make it quick because, I mean, you have other things to film and there's no need for you to spend 30 or 40 minutes getting it. So what we always do is we have a plan. So what you could do is say, hey, I want to get 5 smiling faces. And that's literally like your checklist. And you go around, and once you get those 5, then you kind of move on. So our structure for cocktail hour is we'll usually get a certain amount of close-ups of smiling faces. Then we'll get 2 to 3 wide shots of everyone enjoying the night and they're, getting drinks and things like that. Then we'll go over to the bar and get 2 to 3 shots of, the bartender pouring drinks and things like that. And that's more than enough for what you need, and you can get that in 15 minutes or so. So here's a couple tips to think about when you're filming cocktail hour, or really anybody at the wedding that isn't the bride and groom. So with cocktail hour, a lot of people are, they're not used to having a camera. So oftentimes when you walk up to them, they kind of tense up and they stop being authentic and smiling. So what you want to do is kind of be on a longer lens, like an 85 or a 135. So you can stand pretty far back and not really be in the person's peripherals. And so that way, when they're smiling and laughing, they don't really feel like a camera's there and you can kind of just snipe people, from the back. Because if you walk up with a wide lens, oftentimes people will be like, oh, and they'll stop talking or they'll smile at the camera and act like you're taking a picture, and it's just weird. So wide or longer lens is usually better. And then if for some reason, because some people or some parties of people they're really awkward, they see a camera even way off and they get tensed up. So one thing that you could do is pretend you're not filming. So you kind of set the camera up on a tripod or a monopod and you kind of pick the person you want to film and you start recording. But instead of looking into the LCD screen like this and looking at the person, when they see you filming, they're like, oh, it's really awkward. You can casually stand there with one hand on the monopod and kind of look this way and look like you're paying attention to something else. Maybe you can even be looking on your phone, but your camera's still filming and they're in focus. So they kind of look over and like, oh, he's probably not filming. And then they start being authentic again. So that's a little trick. If for some reason you can't get any smiles, definitely do that and you'll get some great reactions. So as far as filming on a tripod or a monopod for cocktail hour, we like to go on a monopod just because it allows us to really quickly move around and make this section not take a long time. But if you're using a really long lens, a tripod could be really helpful. And just the thing with the tripod, it's kind of easier to spot out in a crowd, so it might make people feel uncomfortable. So we do both, just depending on the situation. So below are the exact types of shots we get, the lenses that we use, and so you can see all that and just be able to crush it at cocktail hour when you're doing it.